I know a lot of people struggle and have difficulty and questions around brush cutter or line trimmer heads. That's what we're going to cover today. So let's crack on. It just so happens I went to get my brush cutter the other day. This is my Stihl FS250. It's a fantastic unit. It's got the bull horns. This has done me really great for a lot of years. I was walking past it. I went to go and grab it, and here, lo and behold, the whole end is missing off the head here, off the line feeder. Now this was an older style automatic feeder, a bump feeder if you will. I've replaced this before, and who knows where the end is. I've searched high and low, I've looked in all where I was whippersnipping and what have you else, and it's missing. It's a mystery. So I thought to myself, well, that's a good opportunity to upgrade this, and I know I get a lot of questions and a lot of discussion around these, and people struggle with them a little bit. So I want to upgrade to the AutoCut C26-2. So this is Stihl's latest. This is more of a commercial line head. It's also a quick load unit, so you actually can put the line in and wind it on without having to take it apart. It takes 2.4mm line, and it also takes 2.7mm line, or for our Imperial friends, 0.095 of an inch, or 0.105 of an inch line. I use this, and I just happen to coincide with, I use my last bit of line that I get. I use this Oregon line, Magnum Gator line Super Twist, 2.7mm. I've got some heavy country out here that I brush cut on, and I used it for my business and doing different contracts and stuff. So this is 216 meters. I buy it by the roll, and I just reel it off as I need it. It's good stuff. It's got like that pattern on it that's a twist star pattern that really bites into stuff, and it's really hard, but it's also got a decent amount of flex. So I'll run you through that. Now the first question we need to ask ourselves is, how do we get the old line unit off? The head off? Well, these are a left-handed thread, so when the power unit, when it's under power, it's doing itself up because the thread is this way. So the motor's spinning this way, and it's getting pressure this way, so it's winding itself on. And what you mightn't realize is there's a small hole in the top of the casting of this, and that's designed for you to put a rod in, or actually you can put the tool that normally comes with the brush cutter into this hole, and that allows you to stop the head from rotating. So what I normally do is set up on the bench like this, clear that hole out, and put something in there that fits really well. It's better to have something that's got a flat bottom of it, but I've always used a screwdriver and it seems to work fine. And then I just rotate, I gently press that in, and I just rotate the head until I find one of the corresponding lock holes that's in this part. And then you can go to wind the unit off. Now remember, a normal item would come off this way with a right-handed thread, so you'd undo it and wind it off. This is a left-hand thread, so we're going up, as if we're going to do it up, that undoes this unit. Then we can just wind that all the way off. And there we go. There comes the line drive unit. You can see the left-handed thread in there, and here's the bearing plate that sits at the back. Good idea. We'll get in here and clean this all out. And there's the drive plate in the back there, the spline that drives the unit. We'll check that that's okay. It's looking pretty good. No trouble there. And you can see here that this is what ends up in that hole. This notch is what ends up stopping the unit from moving. So when we have that in there, it ends up picking up one of those notches and stopping the head from rotating, which allows us to get the nut undone. So that's what you're aiming for. So we're going to tidy up the junk out of here, make sure that rotates freely. Just going to get that last little bit out from behind there, grass and string and whatever else that's been caught up in the back there. This is our old line dispenser, and it was a similar bump style. Oh, who knows where that end is? Just, we're moving on from that. So we come to our AutoCut. Fantastic, we'll get it out of the box. Pretty straightforward unit. I'm pretty excited about this because it's got that nice heavy plastic, but it's also, this bump piece is steel, which the previous one's plastic, and you could just see it not holding up and not lasting. Couple of things we need to understand. People misunderstand these, that they bump them going absolutely flat out. What we want to do is, this won't rotate until we get it below a certain point. So I'm squeezing that in, and it actually then slips past one of the castellated sections, and then it will feed out some more line. So the way to do it is to bump it on the ground just before the moment that you pull the trigger and spin the line out. So just to keep everybody up to speed there. This will go on just absolutely simply. This will just screw straight onto this unit. Now this is the larger one. There is a smaller size for the smaller powered units like an FS90 or something like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this apart. You can actually take these all the way apart, which is what I love about this. You've got the auto feed and the auto load, but you can also take it apart. So if it was on the machine, you can take it off or leave it on the machine, push these two side buttons in, and then that allows you to take that plate off, that retaining plate, put that aside, and then we can sneak these out from in the mandrels here, the guide mandrels, and then this will just get off its notch and come right out. Be careful not to lose that spring. It's retained, but I've seen those fall out. And there we go. So you can load this the old school way if you really want, by setting the middle of the line and winding these around and then putting it back in. So I'll just get this off so I can show you how it's meant to operate. Give you a bit of a head start on how to get these things loaded up. So this will take 8 meters of 2.4 millimeter line, or it will take 7 meters of 2.7 millimeter line. What we're aiming for when we load this is there's a passage through here. So when we stick this in, it goes in, but then it goes around the middle. So it's actually going like that and then back out the other side. So once we get that fed through, we're gonna pull this all the way through until we get to the middle of the piece of line that we had. And all I do is keep it in my hands like this. I marry it up, I marry the end up, right, like this. So I've got both ends in my hand like that. Then I chase it back down towards to the power unit. And then I just manhandle it until it's straight like that. So that now is in the middle. Now I can load this manually by winding this up like this. Okay, we're not doing that today. We're going to use it the way it's intended, because that's the speedy load way. So I'm going to pull this back out. Now if you have this apart, it's fairly straightforward to put back together. This doesn't necessarily need to go particularly any which way. It just needs to, you can see the castellated sections there that I was talking about on the end. They just need to nestle into to the right spot. So find where they go, put a bit of downwards pressure on it and just turn it slightly so it stays in. Then we put that retaining ring back on. Clip that down nice and tight. Now we're going to do the same thing again. One thing we need to make sure of though is there's two arrows on here and there's a line through the middle of this. We need to make sure they're lined up, and you see it just nestles into a nice little spot there. Then we can feed our line through, and this is 2.4 millimeter line. So we do the same again. I just pull that through till I'm pretty confident it's mostly halfway through. Then I put that down. I bring up my two ends so I'm not struggling and I'm not measuring, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm holding one in one hand and I'm pulling the other one through until I've got the same length, or the ends meet right here with me here. Then I chase that back down. Sometimes you got to manage it a little bit. I chase that back down to the head unit, and then I just keep that tight, and there it is. That's now, that line is halfway through the middle of that thing. And again, I just keep these separate, and now we can go ahead and wind it up. There's arrows on here that want you to wind it this way. Okay, there's obviously only got to wind one way because it's got to wind out the other way going in the rotation of the machine. So you can get into a sweet spot here of pushing that down and spinning it. So I'm just ever so slightly getting past its castellated bit. This is like, people who have to load these a different way, they'd be like, this is just like a dream. Okay, I'm nearly done. I'd be out in the field. You cut a 6 meter, 7 meter piece of line, and you'd be minutes to load this back up. And you could do it on the machine. We'll do it on the machine in a second. I'll show you just how easy that is. So here we go. You can push down. They've got little finger spots there, but I just find it easier to palm this in like this. There we go. And we're ready to go. Happy days. That's great. All right, that's a great improvement. Feels like a really solid unit. I'm going to take this line out and we're going to measure up a piece of this 2.7 Oregon line, and we're going to throw that in and see how it goes. So again, if I just wanted to get this line out, I'll just take that plate off, take this out like that, get rid of all this, and just, you know, literally unwind it, and then pull that out from the middle, and away we go. So I'm not getting too fancy with this and measuring it out. I know that my arm span is about 1.8. Okay, so just to keep us on the low side, 2, 4, 6. That's more than enough line to go in this machine. We're gonna put this back together and put it on the machine. So, like I said again, line up those castellate things, just slip it down until it stays on. Put this unit back together, make sure they're clipped in. So what we'll do before we put this back on, we're just gonna clean out any of the scuzz that's in here, or bits of old grass, and just get rid of a bit of the grease that's just lying around here that's just caught up a heap of grass. Just gonna check that bearing. The bearing seems good, it's not wobbling, it's like there's no real free play, so that's good. Put this plate needs to go back on, and it goes on with that cover plate and that piece, that spline protected on the inside there. Then we can wind on our head. Now, remembering that it's left-handed thread, so we'll be trying to wind it off, not back on. So we're trying to wind this off. We're trying to, the left-handed way that it would be coming off. There we go. And then it's the same as we took it on. We're gonna use our screwdriver to locate one of those notches. There it is, and we can just gently tighten it up. There's no need to go crazy tight on this. It's a self-tightening situation. So there we go. That's the new head installed. It's just that easy. Now we'll put our line in. So again, I'm just finding one end, and I'm making sure that this line is lined up with the 2 arrows. And through I go. That should poke out the other end. Beautiful. And now I strip it down like this. And now I'm going to find the middle of the line, like I did before. The 2 ends, like that. And then I chase it back down towards the head unit. And here I go, adjusting that. That's now in the middle. Now I can go ahead and twist the line up. Now again, I'm making sure I'm going in the direction of the arrow there. But look how quick this is. Once you get on a roll, I'm just palming that to make it wind up. Or you can use your fingers in this little bit here. I found it easy just to palm it like this, get it in the right spot, and sort of away you go. So we're not even a couple of minutes in here, and we've installed the new head, and we've wound a new piece of line on. This is great. The old ones used to have to take it all the way apart. And this feels just heavy duty. There we go. Excellent. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and Robert's your dad's brother. Let's go give it a test run. Thank you.
No, really. Now he is.
Hey, dancer. What are you doing? Hello. Oh, there you go. How's dancing? Good?